Welcome to We've Been Drinking MMA. This is our first fight on the prelims of the fight night of Gamrot versus Fiziev. This fight is Vidal. Tamires Vidal versus Rendon. Her name is Montserrat Rendon. She's 5-0, Rendon is. And Vidal is got a great record herself at 7-1. And she only got subbed in her second fight, so she's basically, more or less, you could say, close to undefeated as well. So two really, really good records, even though they don't have too much experience. My pick is going to be Tamires Vidal.
My pick as well is Tamires as well. She throws a lot of kicks. The reason that she kind of hesitates because she wants to grapple. She wants to get it on the ground because she's looking for that submission.
For sure. Like there are some things about Vidal that we like. Like she likes. It seems like she's comfortable striking. Like she likes to strike. When she throws, she throws with a decent amount of power.
You talking about Vidal?
Vidal.
Yeah. Especially with her last KO victory, she looks like she was setting up that knee.
In the UFC.
Yeah.
Her first fight in the UFC, she KO'd
that flying knee. Or jumping
Ramona
knee.
Pascual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she was setting that thing up and then boom.
Yeah.
And then, it's over. Like Pascual hunched over and said, yep, it's done. It's like a walk away. Not many women walkaways, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, so, Vidal is 25 years old, and her opponent, Rendon, is 34. And the thing is, Rendon only has 5 fights. So it seems like she started her career the last 3 years ago at the age of 31. So it just seems like she's an okay fighter, but, she's...
USA debut is really tough.
UFC debut for her.
Yeah.
UFC debut. I think it's a bad matchup because Rendon does... Even though she kind of likes to pressure here and there, she doesn't really go for too many strikes, and she'll go for maybe try and hold you against the cage, try and body lock you, but she doesn't have phenomenal ways of getting you into the ground. Not talented that way.
She has that Jersey shell type striking, really stiff, but defensive striking.
Yes,
the hands really close to the face, elbows close to the body. Coming in straightforward.
Is it fair to say
really stiff?
Is it fair to say she doesn't really commit to her punches the way Vidal does?
Well, you can't get power behind it when your hands are like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Defensive, like Lousy just said. Yeah. So even though she's 5-0, it's all been decisions. So she doesn't have KO power, doesn't have the submissions. It's hard for her to take people to the ground. So it's just one of those fighters who has a 5-0 record. Outside the UFC, but this is her first fight in the UFC against a woman who just KO'd her last opponent in the UFC. So that's our pick, guys. It's Tamires Vidal. She's minus $250 to make $100, but we feel, it's actually worth I would say it's worth the price.
Yeah.
I would bet her straight up.
Worth the parlay.
With a parlay.
Money line is the way to go, I think.
I think so. I mean, who knows how she gets it done, but she's getting it done.
Yeah.
Right? Excited about this fight just to see Vidal do her thing, and we'll see what Rendon has to offer if she can get it into the third round or something like that. But Vidal, I think it's going to be an easy victory.
Yeah, comment on how we're doing. Subscribe if you want. Thanks. Welcome to We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. This is the second fight on the Gamrot Fiziev fight, and it's between Mizuki and Goldy.
Prelims.
Second fight on the prelims. I'm going Mizuki. She's a technical striker. She has good head movement. If there's a tie clinch or anything like that, she knows how to strike, knows how to get out of there. She has good angles on how she does things. She's just a better technical fighter in general.
I like her too. My pick is also Mizuki. Inoue is her last name, from Japan. She has been out for 3 years.
She tore her ACL.
Yeah, she tore her ACL. But yeah, she's actually, her results are, from the past. Verna Jandaroba split decision loss for a championship in Invicta. I mean, she's fought for the belt in Invicta, which essentially was the UFC for women.
Yeah.
Basically. So
and Amanda Lemos.
Yeah, and she lost to Lemos by decision, which is not bad considering Marina Rodriguez, who's second or third fight on this main card for this fight. Marina got knocked out by Lemos. And this girl survived Limo. So that's showing you the level of Mizuki. Not only did she...
How toughness.
Tough. And she puts pressure. It's not easy to time her. And she goes forward with combinations, head movement, like Lousy said. And like we said, decision or a split decision only loss. So close fight with Jandiroba for the championship in Invicta. So we're talking about a person who's got skills. And we're looking at Hannah Goldy. And one word comes to mind, and that would be slow.
Slow.
Very slow.
Very slow.
Like, you want to talk about, you see a tank roll, slower than that.
Yeah.
You know? So, basically, Hannah Goldy, you know, even though she did okay outside the UFC, in the UFC, you know, she has one win, and then after that, got 3 losses and 1 win. So, after her initial win, she's lost 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
And the only person who she beat, she submitted her, Emily Whitmire, and 4 other people submitted Emily Whitmire, I think, in the first or second round.
Yeah.
So Whitmire doesn't belong here.
It's like a
Hannah Goldy doesn't belong here.
Win or she's out of the UFC type thing.
Right. And so you could just see Hannah Goldy, she doesn't throw. Yeah. She just doesn't throw.
She's a grappler that's strong. She's going to try to grab and hold on to or take her down.
But she's so slow, and Mizuki, I would say, is pretty fast. Legitimately fast.
Because she's
pretty
technical
fast.
And she's
confident.
She has those angles.
Yeah, man. So we're talking about a fighter who we think is slow, not confident enough to throw really almost any significant strikes. And this is one of those prelim phenomenal mismatches for us, where we like Mizuki, even though she's minus 250 with a 3-year layoff. She did tear her ACL 3 years ago. Minus 250, we still feel is a steal, I would say, Lousy.
Yeah.
Steal? Yeah, steal. And so, yeah, that's our pick is Mizuki Inoue. She's minus 250, $250 to make 100. But we feel it's just one of those beautiful, beautiful matchups for her. She's fast. Hannah Goldy is slow. And Hannah Goldy doesn't throw, and Mizuki throws with combinations, purpose. She doesn't throw with a lot of power, but a lot of punches. She'll throw a lot. Volume. Boom. There it is. So that's our pick, Mizuki.
Mizuki for the win.
Thank you for listening. Welcome. We've been drinking MMA. This is the third fight on the prelims for the UFC Fight Night. Gamrot versus Fiziev. So this is Jake Collier, heavyweight fight versus Mohammed Usman. And my pick tentatively is Mohammed Usman.
And my pick is I'm not going to put any money on it because this is not the fight to put any money on because you never know how this fight's going to go, but it's going to be inside distance. Jake Collier comes forward. He has combos. Mo Usman, he's more of an athlete than a fighter, in my opinion. But he has those looping strikes that can catch a chin. In his last fight versus Justin Tafa, was it Justin or Junior? Junior Tafa. He turned to a wrestler.
Mohammed Usman, yeah.
One of the most boring fights in UFC history. But he won.
He literally held him against the cage for 3 rounds, and then I don't even know if the takedown happened. Maybe it happened for a little bit.
He took him down.
A little bit.
And then he laid on top of him.
15 minutes.
15 straight minutes of that, and it was like, wow.
Wow.
Well, I think this is going to be a different type of fight. Jake Collier is going to come in with a different mentality. I think it's a win or be out of the UFC type mentality. So he's going to come forward, and he's going to stay coming forward. So his gas tank is not the best because he's a big man.
Yeah.
And he used to be a small guy, and now he's a big guy. So he used to be a 185er.
Wow. He's huge.
And he has to make way for 265.
Wow, know? He actually has to cut. Wow. So,
yeah. Well, have you looked at him? He's a big boy.
Pudgy guy, big guy. He does throw combinations.
Yeah, and he stays keeping forward. He loves the combos, and you never know. It's a UFC, and they're big guys. Yeah. One just takes one punch with the heavyweights.
Yeah.
So, so my pick is inside distance.
I mean, it's a close fight on the odds. It's basically a pick'em. Mohammed Usman is slightly favorite, minus 150, $150 to make 100, so very, very close on the odds. And Collier, slight underdog, $100 to make 125. So it's basically a pick'em, and that's why I feel like I don't want to put money either, bro. Like, all I really want to do is look at the first round, look at how Usman, is he fast enough? Is he keeping the distance smart, or is he wanting to brawl? Because if sometimes a guy like Collier, he puts that much pressure, all of a sudden you say, screw it. I'm sick of trying to run. Let's just go ahead and bite down on the mouthpiece, sit down on my punches, and see if we can trade. And then all of a sudden, the second or third strike of Collier hits you while you're loading up.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that can happen when you think you're so much better. He might be underestimating, that type of stuff against Collier. He might be underestimating Collier. And it's just one of those fights where Collier is going to be throwing a lot of strikes. Usman doesn't throw a lot of strikes. So Usman either probably gets the knockout counterpunch or he doesn't, and Collier just kind of keeps backing him up, and it could be a boring decision. Obviously, Usman can switch to wrestling and hold him against the cage and do things like that. But like we're saying, if Collier puts so much pressure, it's not always easy to just get takedowns against a guy who's putting that much pressure. Yeah. For a heavyweight, it's a lot of pressure. It's not typical for a heavyweight. Like Lazi said, he came up for 185, so he's got the mentality of a dog of wanting to come forward, and he's not afraid to really go forward because he knows he's got good faster footwork than most heavyweights. So confidence is a big thing in the heavyweight division, right? So we want to wait for the first round definitely, and then possibly in the see how Usman is dealing with, is he fast enough? Is he keeping the distance? Is he getting the timing down with getting out of the way and throwing counters? If not, I just let the fight go.
And the gas tank too.
Gas tank's a big thing in this fight. Yeah, again, we're talking about the pressure of Collier. You don't know how Mohammed Usman, you don't know how anyone really can handle that type of pressure sometimes. So it's like, it's close on the odds. I'm just gonna wait, see what happens in the first round. No shame in saying that.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Gut reaction, inside distance.
Inside the distance. Someone gets finished, so much pressure. Someone's going to get knocked out. Yeah, for sure.
So,
thanks for listening, guys.
Wait till the next fight.
Welcome, We've Been Drinking. This is the fourth fight on the prelims for the fight night of Gamrot versus Fiziev. This is fourth fight on prelim is Jacob Malkoun at middleweight versus Cody Brundage, and my pick is going to be Jacob Malkoun is minus 550 at this point, $550 to make 100, but he's still my pick even though he's very pricey. I just feel like he's got the better striking. He's got more takedowns per fight than Cody Brundage, and just overall better fighter. What about you, Lazi?
I think it's going to go to distance.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to be a striking match at all. This is going to be a grapple fest.
Makes sense.
So even though Brundage is actually, he has powerful takedowns, like double legs you. It has that around the corner type, picks you up with the double, actually gets his hands around you, lifts you up, and then turns the corner so you're not against the cage type takedowns. But Malkoun's with his pressure, that's all he does is take people down.
Yeah.
It's like eight takedowns a fight.
8 takedowns a fight.
So
unbelievable takedown average. And also Brundage has some power, so I could totally see what you're saying, Malkoun by distance.
Yeah. I think Brundage's last 3 fights he got knocked out. Is that true?
Yeah. He has been he lost his last 3 fights in a row.
Last 3 fights.
A unanimous decision to Dumas, then he got submitted in the second round by Vieira, and then he got knocked out by Oleg Sajak in the first round.
Oh, Walter White. That's right.
our man who's solving chemistry problems while he fights, Great fighter from Poland, like a KO guy. Anyway, Brundage did take that fight on short notice. I think it was a month or even 2 weeks. But regardless, he did get knocked out, and he's going 3-fight losing streak. Whereas you look at Malkoun, he did get knocked out in his first fight versus Phil Hawes, who people know Phil Hawes. He's dangerous. And other than that, though, in his last 4 fights after that first fight in the UFC, he's 3-1. And all decisions, and his only loss is to Brendan Allen, who's a top 10 fighter, and Allen finishes people. And the fact that he was able to go the distance with Allen means a lot 2 fights ago. So Allen's peaking, and he fought a primed Allen, and he did okay. He only lost by decision rather than getting finished. Not bad.
Yep.
We're looking at the takedown average. He's got a higher strike count landed, 3.7 versus only 1.8
this is
for
not
Brundage.
Going to be a strike fest at all.
No. Yeah, it's not
going to be a fist fight.
I think not lousy. Lousy's right. Yeah, it's like sloppy wrestling, back and forth type stuff. More strikes landed by Malkoun.
Probably a boring fight.
Yeah, Malkoun gets a few more strikes than Brundage per round. A lot of wrestling, a lot of grappling.
Jab, fake hook, then go for a shoot. That might be for both fighters, actually.
Yeah. Brundage might be loading up a little bit more on his big overhands to keep the distance and stuff like that, but Malkoun will read it, and Malkoun has the, just the better record.
The better fight IQ as well.
Better fight IQ, man.
Brundage against, who was it? Dumas.
Yeah.
He kept on pulling guard and trying to go for guillotine. He did it a couple times.
Yeah.
And then Dumas Dumas just waited it out, and he was able to get on top, and that's how you won the decision because the control time.
Lost by decision.
Yeah.
Just literally just let the other guy just be on him for that long. Can't win a fight. So third fight, I mean, this is a dangerous fight. Maybe Brundage 4 fights in a row. This could be his last opportunity.
That might be true.
But this, I mean, Malkoun's a horrible matchup, right?
He's
better
the same
at everything.
Fighter.
Literally same fighter, but just better at everything and younger.
Yep.
So Malkoun's the pick, and I think Malkoun by decision. And so if there's a good price for Malkoun by decision.
That's a good point.
If it goes a distance bet, if that's a good price, whatever the good price is, Malkoun by decision, if that's really good, I'm going for that.
Yeah. I like it. Let's wait till the next fight. Thanks, guys. Welcome to the We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. We are talking about Tim Means, Andre Fialho?
Yeah, Fialho. Could be Fialho. Yeah.
I'm going
from Portugal.
Method of victory is going to be KO.
Nice.
If you just look at the last, let's say 11 fights of Fialho,
God.
they're all been either losses by KO or wins by KO.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to be any difference because Tim Means like to put some, at least when he's striking, likes to come forward.
He is a pressure fighter for sure.
He likes that dirty boxing. He likes the clinch. He likes that type of stuff. And Fialho, Andre. How about Andre? That works for me. Yep. Andre, he doesn't mind getting punched because he has that type of power. So Tim Means going to come forward with the dirty boxing. Either he's going to clip him.
Yeah.
I think Andre's going to get him out of there. It might be a first round. I'm not going to pick a fighter, but it might be a first round type knockout.
Just with the style matchup. Fialho is clean counters and Tim Means is dirty fighting. So yeah, for me, my pick is Tim Means. He's 39 years old though, and Fialho is 29. It makes a difference. It could be the difference maker here too. But both of them got the same reach. They're both coming off of 3 losses in a row. But we said Fialho got knocked out in his last 3 fights, but he fought killers like Buckley and Salikov. We know Salikov. And Jake Matthews, all name fighters, so it's not like he's getting KO'd by nobodies. And then Tim Means got submitted by Alex Morano, another name fighter, in the second round. Got a split decision loss to Max Griffin. Max Griffin's, solid. And then submitted by the great Kevin Holland. And then their last wins, Fialho had a clean knockout counter in the first round.
Violent knockout with
Van Camp. And then who else? Miguel Beza, which we had a lot of respect for Miguel Beza. Technical brawler, and he KO'd him in the first round. He's got a lot of good, decent wins, man. And, lost to Michel Pereira, which we all know is the dancer fighter, flipping and everything like that.
Capoeira.
Yeah, man, great fighter. I would say great fighter. And people that Means beat 4 fights ago, Nicholas Dalby, respect for him. Dalby's a really good fighter. Mike Perry. So...
Bare knuckle champ himself.
Yeah. We got some decent records, man. They were both doing good until they went on this 3-fight losing streak each. So it's kind of one of those fights where it's kind of maybe like loser goes home type thing,
Yes.
Like loser gets knocked out of the UFC. Tim Means is 39, like we said. Fialho is 29, 10-year age difference. For me, I'm just going with Means. I like that lousy pick though with the KO. Look at Fialho, and it's just been happening. And he is a killer be killed guy. Look at his last 5 fights, all KOs. Either he wins by KO or loses by KO. It's hard to imagine Tim Means KOing Fialho. It could happen. If Fialho is
he doesn't mind getting hit.
Yeah, what if Tim Means just throws a random head kick at the end of a 3-punch combination and it lands or some shit? You never quite know. It's hard to know how this is gonna go. I feel like Andre Fialho keeps good distance most of the time. I don't. He's got the clean counters, but Tim Means is active as far as he throws a lot. So he opens himself up for getting countering too. So it's kind of a dangerous
100%,
fight.
especially early on in that Morano fight.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a first round knockout, but how hard Morano was throwing because Means just leaves himself open.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a knockout, but I can't pick a fighter.
Yeah, I like Tim Means his activity, pressure fighting, these are types of fighters that can really, put pressure on and throw those combinations and make it hard, and he doesn't walk into punches too much, too bad, but he does leave himself open. When you throw that many punches in a row, it's kind of dangerous. But one thing I did notice about Fialho is that he wasn't blocking the head kick from Buckley too much. Like, he kind of had good distance, but the one thing he wasn't really blocking, it's something that he could correct easily in this fight. I'm sure he will, but it's just one thing that I noticed, that Tim Means can throw a head kick. That's something that could happen, just to add to his combinations. But yeah, man, I just like Tim Means' dirty style, man. Going forward, throwing lots of punches, landing some, missing some.
And he wants to be there. So.
Yeah, he fights with a lot of force. Even 39 years old, but he still fights like he is got something to lose. So
almost his 50th fight.
Nothing to lose, sorry. Yeah, my God, this is crazy. 32-15-1 is his record, almost 50 fights. Yeah. So I'm excited for this fight because both of them have a lot to prove with the three losses in a row for each of them, and I'm really hoping for a great fight. I'm actually really looking for this fight as one of the fight of the nights, or at least for the prelims anyway.
It's gonna be an entertaining fight.
Yep. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. We are talking about the Miles Johns Dan Argueta fight. I'm going inside distance, and I think Miles Johns actually gets a knockout in this fight.
And for me, I like Argueta's grappling. I like how he's getting better from fight to fight. It's a close fight. It's minus 170 for Argueta, slight favorite, 170 to make 100. And I'm just going Argueta. Should be probably by decision, but I'm just going to say Argueta money line because he's relatively cheap. I just feel like he's got the pressure, really. Yes. Miles Johns has, like, the better striking. I mean, he has striking in general. Argueta doesn't strike. He throws, but it's not really.
His striking is more there so he can set up a takedown.
100%. Yeah. Like, that's what he does, is just go for takedowns, relentless with it. I just think that Argueta he's had only 3 fights in the UFC. One of them is a decision loss, his first fight to Damon Jackson. He decision beat Nick Aguirre, and then he no contested Ronnie Lawrence, which was one of those things, actually, we saw this weekend where he had a sub, and then the other guy said, I didn't tap. It's like, but I saw you do something, like, with, like, 2 things. It wasn't in the same spot, but he tapped one on one, place, and then he tapped second, like, right away on somewhere else, and he's like, I didn't tap. It was kind of a weird situation.
Inside the leg, and then outside the leg.
Yes, exactly. It was weird. But Miles John is coming off, let's see, he's been in the UFC for a long time, actually. He's been around for 4 years. He's like 6-2. He's got some KOs. He can be a dangerous fighter here. Got really good leg kicks, I would say. I just feel like the pressure that Argueta can put is something that Miles, I think, is better when he pressures. You know what I mean? But like, he's not like a clean counterpuncher type guy. He's a guy with good, he's tough. He's got good power type guy. And I just feel like Argueta, just because he's getting better from fight to fight, and he can, when you smother Miles, then it's harder to throw the leg kicks, right? It's like anytime you smother somebody, it's just harder to do what you want to do. And that's the only reason I'm really going with Argueta is I saw Miles get taken down a little bit, I think, and I just like Argueta looks to be that style. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming, that Argueta is improving enough to kind of put the pressure, throw the fake punches, and just get the takedowns. And
well, if he does take him down, it's gonna be a problem for him because he can submit people, even though he hasn't done it in the UFC.
Yeah,
but in the like.
A lot of
Strike Force type stuff, like not Strike Force, but LFA. And he has submitted people.
Yeah, 4 subs and 2 KOs in that. So not bad. But he's 9-1.
But if he tries to stand and strike with him, it's gonna be
it's a knockout.
It's gonna be a knockout for sure.
But I kind of like. So you were saying inside the distance?
Yeah, inside the distance, and I personally think Miles John is gonna knock him off.
Yeah,
but like inside the distance,
just in case a sub happens or something.
Just in case, like, Argueta gets the back.
Right. Just in case something weird happens.
But I don't think that's going to happen because I think Miles John is a wrestler himself, but that turned into a striker.
Right.
But, Miles John's for the win, in my opinion. But, like, I think inside distance, if you are going to bet this.
Yeah, it's another fight where, there's some other fights, the first couple fights that I really like on the prelim. This is the last fight on the prelim, and this is just... it's almost a toss-up fight as far as the odds again.
Fighters on the come-up.
Yeah. So, yeah, going with Argueta. Lousy's going with Miles Johns. He's thinking by KO. I'm just thinking, who knows? So I'm just doing Argueta money line, and we'll see what happens. Not sure if I'm going to add it to the parlay or not, but it's just one of those fights, It should be a good one just because both of them are kind of, good records. 13-2 for Mike Johns and 9-1 for Argueta. So it's going to be an interesting fight just because they're winners. So thanks for listening, guys.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let us know if you want us to keep doing these prelims.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're doing the whole card.
Yep.
Like every single fight on the card.
It's our pleasure. It's fun.
Yeah, it's actually kind of neat. There's some fights where like there's zero chance this fighter is gonna lose, and it's actually kind of cool because there's some ways to win us some actual money here. So let us know if you want us to keep doing it. So thanks everybody.